Hello everyone and welcome to Programming and Access 2013, the Advanced course. My name is Steve Bishop, and in this video we're going to be talking about sending Outlook emails with VBA code behind your Access database. Now in a previous video, back during our basics series, we actually used the doCommand.sendObject method to generate either a PDF file or an Excel spreadsheet or something like that, and attach that to an email and then send that off. But in that particular example, the user was presented with the actual email before that email would get sent out. The user would actually have to click on the send button. And sometimes as a developer, you don't really want that. You want to have full control over the generation of that email. You want to be able to, say for example, add more people that are going to be receiving this email, or add more attachments to the email. Or maybe you just don't even want the user to be seeing any experience at all. You just want everything to be generated and sent behind the scenes without the user even knowing it. And a good example of that would be a lot of developers like to receive emails when their applications have some sort of problem with them, when they run into some sort of runtime error. And you can actually handle that runtime error and create an email and send that off to your development email account so that you can receive an email notification when there's been some sort of trouble with your application, and you can respond to that without the user even really knowing that there was a problem to begin with. So that's just one example. There's many examples of why you would want to send an email in the background. And so let's just go ahead and hop out here. I'm going to show you, I've got a form already developed here that the user would use in order to fill out what they want the email to consist of. A to-line here, a subject line, and if they have an attachment, they can attach it here, and then the actual body of the email. So just a few things I kind of want to point out about this form before we get too far into it. My body text box here, I've changed the enter key behavior to be new line in field. And this is essentially because the default behavior for the enter key is that it will actually do the on click event if you have one of your buttons that's set to the default. Regardless of where you're at in the form, if you were to hit the enter key, it would then go ahead and do the on-click event for that button that is the default button. So we don't really want that behavior when a user is typing out a message that might contain several different paragraphs of information in the body of this message. So when the user hits the enter key, it's going to drop the cursor down to the next line, or essentially do a carriage return line feed. So we want that behavior to exist instead of the on-click event being sent to the send button here. So that's why we have that. The next thing I kind of want to point out is the browse button here. And if you go to the on-click event for the browse button, you'll see that there is a file picker dialog that opens up and allows the user to pick one file from off of their hard drive, and then that file full path name gets sent to the txt attachment text box. If you aren't sure how to do this, or you haven't seen this occur before, I demonstrate how to do this in my how to show a PDF file inside of Access. So I have a how-to video that demonstrates how you can pick a PDF file on your hard drive and actually display that inside of a window. And that video utilizes this file dialog file picker. So you can go ahead and see how to do that in that video as well. And the last thing is the clear button has an on-click event that just basically clears out all of the data on those text boxes, so we can start with a fresh form. Okay, so that's basically my form as it currently stands. Again, this information, this text box, all these text boxes, you don't even really need to have a form for the user to fill out, okay? You can fill in all of this information yourself in the code. You can say who it's going to in a subject line, and if you want to attach something to it, you can attach it yourself. You can do all of that in code by yourself. Now, this video is not going to cover all of those scenarios. I think you should probably be able to figure that out, just create your own strings and fill them in. But for this video, this is going to be the form that we're going to go ahead and utilize. So now let's get to the nitty-gritty of this. What do we want to do with the send button? When the user clicks on send, we want it to generate an email and send that email off to whoever is in this to line. Okay. Well, so let's go ahead and click on the send button and go to the on-click event, go to the ellipsis, go to the code builder, and let's go ahead and go to this click event. And the first thing you need to realize is that Access itself does not handle any email items. Okay, it is not a mail client. It does not create emails. It does not know your email account. It does not know your email server. It doesn't know the ports. It doesn't know your password. It doesn't know any of that information. The only thing it knows how to do is relational database management system with some user interface stuff, right? Forms and reports. It doesn't do emails directly. So you need to utilize some other third-party entity, some other application that is an email client. And luckily for us, with Office 2013, where you probably purchased Access 2013, you got your Office 2013 suite along with it, you probably have Outlook also installed. And a lot of people, of course, are very familiar with Outlook as an application. Boy, can I type today? So obviously Outlook is our mail client, and I've already got an example set up here. I've got my email account all set up with, all of the mail services, the server, the port, the password, all that's been set up and configured in Outlook to go ahead and send and receive emails. So you should probably go ahead and do that if you haven't already, because we're going to be utilizing Outlook to actually send and receive those emails. So you'll need to set up your Outlook client to be able to do those things and handle sending and receiving emails before you can really go ahead and generate an email from within Access. Okay, so now that we got that all squared away, since we know that Outlook is the actual application that's going to be sending and receiving emails. Oh, and just one quick note, you can utilize other email applications. There's one I think out there called there's one called Eudora. So I don't know what the accessibility is of Eudora with VBA code, but there are plenty of other email clients out there that allow you to send and receive emails. But again, in this video, we're going to be talking about Outlook. Okay, so we need to go ahead and go out and get to the Outlook application and tell Outlook, from our code here in Access, we need to tell Outlook, hey, create an email and send it out with these things. So in order to do that, you need to actually make a reference to the Outlook library. And the way you do that is if you go to Tools and References, you'll see if you scroll down here, I'm going to go all the way down to Microsoft, you're looking for the Microsoft Outlook 15.0 object library. Some of you might get a little confused. You may have a different version number besides 15.0. If you're running Access 2013 or Office 2013, you should be getting 15.0. And that may seem a little strange that, Office 2013 is actually 15.0, but that is actually the version number of Office 2013. So go ahead and select that. And I'm sure some of you who are the more advanced people, you're going, wait a minute, Steve, wait. You told us a while back about this thing called late binding, right? And that allows us to not have to make any of these references. And you're absolutely correct. There is a way to do this with late binding, but for the demonstration purposes of this video, it's always nice to have the IntelliSense that comes with early binding. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate how to do this using that reference to Outlook to actually build our code. And in the next video, I'm actually going to show you how to alter the code so that it is late binding. So just to satisfy everybody there. Okay, so now that we know we've got a reference to our Outlook database, our Outlook library, what do we need to do? Well, the first thing is, since Outlook is the actual application that you need to create the email in, right? You're not creating it in Access, you're creating it in Outlook. You need to actually open up Outlook application. So we're going to dim a new object, and I'm going to go ahead and call it let's see if I can get my keyboard to work here, app. And I'm going to say it's as a type of new Outlook. Oops, I can't spell tonight. Outlook application. Okay, so it is a new Outlook application. And the reason why it's a new Outlook application is because when you use the new keyword, you're going to go ahead and instantiate an instance of that Outlook application. Okay, so it's going to actually open up the actual Outlook application for you in the background. And luckily for us, the default behavior of creating a new Outlook application instance is that it does open up in the background. It won't show you the full Outlook window. Okay, if anything, you'll get this little icon down here in the system tray of Outlook, but the user doesn't really get presented with anything that even tells them that Outlook is open. You know, they don't get any sort of send window or anything like they did with the send object method. Okay, so now that we've got our Outlook application created, we need to go ahead and create a email object. So we're going to go ahead and do dim. We're going to do O email. And a lot of you may be tempted to use the new keyword to go ahead and instantiate this object. But there's going to be a problem here. Now let me just show you. The actual class object that you want to create from within Outlook is called mail item. And you can see that we don't get any sort of IntelliSense with this, right? And that's because the mail item object does not actually cannot be instantiated by Access itself, because Access doesn't really know anything about this mail item. Only the Outlook application knows about a mail item. Okay, so it's the Outlook application itself is the only application that can actually instantiate this OEmail object. But we can go ahead and create a variable here in Access that's going to be of a type of mail item. So we're going to go ahead and create the container of that mail item. And just to prove it to you that we do get the full IntelliSense, I'm just going to go ahead and lowercase that m. And if I enter off of it, you'll see that it automatically changes. That's because that is properly formatted. I do, in fact, have access to create that OEmail, that mail item account object, that container for email. I can do that from within Access. I just can't instantiate it. Okay. So now that we've got our two objects, we've got our Outlook application and we've got our email object, let's go ahead and set our email object. So we're going to do set OEmail, and it's going to be equal to, and remember I said that you have to instantiate the email object from within the Outlook application. Okay, so from within the Outlook application. So I'm going to reference the OApp object, and from within the OApp object, now we can actually do a create item, and there is a enum here called OL item type, and one of the enum options, one of the items here is OL mail item, and that's what we're going to go ahead and create. We're going to use this create item method to create a mail item, and we're going to set it equal to that O mail object. Okay. But now we have this OEmail object that exists within our VBA code and Access that we can go ahead and do some manipulation on. So let's go ahead and do OEmail, and we're going to set the to value, the to property, equal to what we have typed in the to section. Then we're going to do OEmail, and we want to do the subject line, right? The subject needs to equal me.txt subject. And OEmail, and let's go ahead and do the body is going to be equal to what the user types in me.txt body. And last but not least, we have OEmail attachments is equal to, this might present a bit of a problem here, okay, because we can't, the attachments collection, because we can attach multiple items to an email, right? You can attach multiple different files to an email. So we actually need to come up with a slightly different method to add a file to the attachments collection. And the way you do that is, let's go ahead and first, let's go ahead and do if me.txt attachment, and we're going to check to see if it is empty. Okay, so we're going to do if length, I'm just going to use the length, I like to do length, is greater than 0, then go ahead and add this attachment because we want to check to see if somebody has, in fact, actually selected a file. So let's go ahead and check to make sure somebody typed something in that text box. And then we're going to go ahead and do this. We're going to do a O email attachments, and there is an add method on the attachments collection. And luckily for us, it's fairly straightforward. The source just needs to be a type of string. So we're just going to do me. Sorry, folks, my keyboard's kind of acting up on me a little bit here. Oops. Yeah, me attachment. Me.txt attachment. There we go. Now, there is one slight issue here with the way I've got this typed up. If you recall when we were talking about the temp vars collection back in the basic series, the temp vars collection doesn't really like to have an item added to it if it thinks that it's an object. And technically, this reference to txt attachment is in fact a reference to the text box object. So we want to specify that we really want to get the string, the text that exists inside of that text box. So we're going to do dot value. Okay, and now that will actually get the string that's inside of the text box and add it to this attachments collection. Okay, and then so once we've got that completed, now we can go ahead and do oemail.send. And that is all that we really need to do. Now, obviously, there's some other things that we should probably do before we allow this send to happen. And that is we probably want to make sure that all of these things are actually filled in. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's see. Let's do some if. Let's see. Let's do with. You know what? I'm going to make things a lot easier here. I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to do a with statement. With, oops, oemail, end with. Gosh, my keyboard is really goofing up on me tonight. End with. Okay, so we're going to check the two. So if two, actually we want to do if two, let's see, let's do not is null dot 2, okay, and not is null subject, and not is null. So we're just checking all of these to make sure that people typed in all of these body, all these different text boxes, they have something in here. We don't really care about the attachments though, so we just want to make sure they've at least put in a to line, a subject line, and a body line. Okay, then we'll do our send. If not, right, if one of these things is missing, we'll do an else message box. Please fill out the required text boxes or text fields, required fields. Now we don't really have any message, nothing that really indicates which one of these text boxes is required, but you know what? I don't really care at this point. You guys can figure all that out and specify that as you want. So let's go ahead and debug this and compile. All right, good. And you know what? I do want to add one last thing here, and that's a message box email sent, just to let the user know that the email has gone out. Okay, save that, compile that, good to go there. Now let's go ahead and view this and clear out what I've got in there so far. So we're going to send this to my email address. Subject line is just going to be testing. And I'm going to go ahead and add an attachment here. I'm going to scroll down and find this beautiful .pdf file. So we're going to attach that PDF. And this is a test. And see how if I hit the enter key, it drops down to the next line, just carriage return line feed. This is only a test. All right. Now let's go ahead and click on the send button. And you can see there's an Outlook icon that opens up down here in the tray icon, but the user doesn't really get presented with any sort of Outlook windows to ask them to send the email. I'm going to just go ahead and click OK here. And when this disappears, then that email has correctly sent. We don't really have anything to worry about. You can see the Outlook has gone disabled there, and it's disappeared. So now, since that was sent to my email address, I can go ahead and take a look at it and see what that email looks like. And there it is. There's my email. So this is a test. This is only a test, and there is my PDF attachment. So there you go. That is how you can create an email object in the background. You just have to make sure that you have that reference up here in the tools references to the Outlook library, and then just go ahead and instantiate a new instance of the application, create a new email container in Access, but then go ahead and instantiate that object with a create item method from that application that is that Outlook application. Set all of your properties here, including the attachments, and then I just have a little bit of checking to make sure that all the fields that are necessary are in there. And just one last thing before we all go here, I just kind of want to show you guys that the email object here has a lot with it. So you can see there's actions, add business cards, more attachments, auto forwarders, CCs, conflicts, companies. You can close the object, or you can close the email object. You can check for conflicts. You can copy one, delete after submit, download state. So there's a lot of properties and methods on this email object. You're more than welcome to just go ahead and you can just do like I like to do. Go to this mail item up here and press F1, and that'll actually take you right to the, well, it takes me to Visual Studio. I'm not really sure why, but you do a search. Let's do that. Let's do a Google search here for Outlook mail item. And you'll see that there is just a lot of information here for this mail item. You can create a lot of different things. So anyway, if you guys have any questions about this process, please feel free to drop me a line in the description of this or in the comment section of this video, and I'll be happy to try to do whatever I can to help answer your questions. Please don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe.